Zander Krause joins us now, the Prince of Cape May.
Where'd you come up with that name? You don't have my mic? You can't hear me?
Can't hear you, kid. You must be connected into the.
What is going on?
Can't hear you, man.
You got me now?
Nope.
It's your computer. Tell me everybody else can hear me.
Nope.
I bet you everybody else can hear me. Yeah,
he's right. I accidentally hit F12.
Yeah. I knew everybody could hear me because I double-checked my mic right before I came on here. Where the heck did you come up with that name? I'll take it, though, man. My goal one day is to buy a house in Cape May. I'll kick my feet up there, do sports talk from there every day.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm good with that, man.
Bro, when I was a kid, I used to go to Chesapeake Bay. I used to go on the beaches down there, and I used to go to Ocean City, Maryland, and all them places, man. God, I love that part of the country, man. Blue shell crabs and all that, man. I mean, seriously, dude. Now, Wildwood was way better. From what I understand, it's not what it is and what it used to be.
I still like Wildwood. I mean, yeah, people chirp it because it's a good spot for everybody to be able to go to. Yeah. I got love for every spot down there. A bunch of my friends growing up had places in Wildwood. So,
did you ever go up to Jones Beach?
Jones Beach, where's that?
It's outside of New York a little bit. Jones Beach is. I never didn't go up that way.
Nah, I'm not a North Jersey beach kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Cape May was where my grandmother took us, and I've been going there my whole life. That's at the bottom. That's exit 0, big dog.
Bro, I used to live down there at that Jersey Shore, man. I mean, we used to just go down there all the time. Me and my boys would drive down, get on the 95, and go over there. Man, I had a blast.
I would move to Jersey right now if it wasn't so expensive tax wise.
Yeah,
it's like you. It's like you with the California. That's how expensive Jersey is. It's like, it might as well be more expensive than New York. So I would probably.
Did you see King Hurts last night at the Met Gala last night?
I saw him. I give him credit. He looked pretty dapper. But I don't really get it. Everybody was telling me all week, man, that this guy's on his honeymoon. Listen, you can choose to not care, but the guy clearly opted to go to this and not go to the White House, not go to AJ Brown's and get. I mean, it's very clear here. These guys aren't boys anymore. Whatever. Just keep winning ball games, Big Sills.
I agree 100%. Hey, so I'm sitting there and I prepare my show and I'm listening to you guys and you start going in and all of a sudden I see your chat start blowing up and I'm like, ooh, hang on here. That must be a topic for Big Cells.
Everybody was on my ass. I'm like, chill out. Good night.
Hey, I just started going like this. What are they talking about that's interesting here? It can't be about John breaking down draft pick in the 6th round. It's got to be something else over here. What? The passing off? Hang on here.
This jerk off taking shots. He gets credit and takes shots in the same 3 words.
Well, that's the nature of Big Cells. You can never change the stripes on a zebra. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this here. Let's try, and I know you will, but let's try to do this on a level of talking about one guy. So AJ Brown right now, if this football team doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, and he's on one of the 5th worst passing teams in the league, and they don't win it, and they win it the same way. By the way, once again, they should run the ball. I'm not saying what's right here. I'm talking about A.J. Brown.
I know what you're talking about.
Legacy, his resume, what he wants to accomplish in the game. Do you not agree, Zander? The number one thing that he's checked off already is the Super Bowl appearances and the win. Right. Now he wants that gold jacket. That's what I'm talking about. If they end up one of the 5th worst passing teams in the league, like they did a year ago, and they don't win it, how's that fit with the court gesture known as A.J. Brown? He's
gone. He's gone. Are you kidding me? I don't even think he would make it to the 2027 season if that happens. This is I think so. I think where you bring this up is that you're toting a line where it's hard naturally for fans to differentiate. All right. There's human beings who have real life things, real life goals, real life aspirations, real life circumstances, real life things. And then there's a game. Okay. We're fans of the game.
Yep.
the players care about the game. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they don't put the game before the person or themselves because, again, one is real life and one is a game. That's why I always laugh at people who get mad at me for sports takes. I'm like, what, are you mad at me because we don't agree on sports ball, dude? You know, like there's way more consequential things here that we could be mad at each other for. But I do think it matters. I think it 100% matters. I think A.J. Brown would be the first person to get the heck out of here. And I think he'd be fine to do it. I mean, he already posts every summer, you know, in Patriots jerseys and stuff. Now, I know he grew up a Patriots fan, whatever, for whatever reason. But Sills has a good point, man. This guy wanted everything now. At what point, you know, and here's the other thing I think people forget about. Like, all right, everybody's fine that we win without throwing the ball to AJ that much. All right, cool. That's your take. I agree with most of you, by the way. If you're AJ Brown, all right, and you know that you're one of the best wide receivers in football, doesn't that grind you up every single play you come off and you're like, man, I was open. Man, Absolutely. If I had the ball there, I was going end zone. If I had that, if he threw that ball up to me there, I was getting 60 yards. Like that would grind any human's gears. Anybody who's good at anything in life wants to be able to do that thing to the fullest extent and to the best of their abilities. A.J. Brown is technically suppressed in this offense. And how many times have we talked about the crunch of the cap that's coming? I think it would be a logical thing at that point to probably move forward on from A.J. Brown if there is a stink next year. And I happen to agree with you that, you know, like I said yesterday, I think he does a pretty good job, honestly.
He does.
He could have made a way bigger stink about it last year. They were winning games. He shut up. He was quiet for the most part, and he let it happen. But year two, now with the Super Bowl, I agree with you. I happen to agree with you. I think this is way more of a case of AJ would put himself first, his career first. And again, you know, the other thing you're talking about here, Sills, is this is like going to the Hall of Fame, being a historic figure in the NFL, that could feed you for life.
Oh my God.
Not that he won't be fed for life on what he's doing now, but you go to the Hall of Fame, that's a different aura about you. Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, the name, everything that you can do. You could open AJ Brown's restaurant and make $1 million in a blink of an eye when you have that. So I think it matters. I do. I think the real life element is bigger here than the game. They play a game as a team. Every human has their own individual aspirations. AJ Brown doesn't believe he's living up to those right now, and I think over time that would weigh on him for sure.
Let me ask you something about winning. I'm going to ask Boomer Esiason this question also at 5:30. John Morgan will join us at 4:30. Do you think the Super Bowl MVP 80 some odd days ago, do you see a change a little bit in the behavior of Jalen Hurts?
From when to when?
From the Super Bowl win and the MVP award to right now, a little bit, again, not bad. It's the rewards of winning that and getting that. And now do you think it kind of like people look at him differently now? And he's now well, I'll tell you what, you're not one of the most influential people on the planet if you lose the Super Bowl, like I'm telling you.
No, I know that. And it's definitely changed. But here's the other thing I would say about this. I mean, doesn't there have to be a little bit of room for him to be like, bro, I can't do everything? Like he's been grinding all through the Super Bowl. Even after the Super Bowl, most people have their feet kicked up on the couch with their wife and their kids or whatever they're doing, and they're relaxing. Jalen Hurts is flying around. Jalen Hurts is doing this. He's doing this. It's like, all right, I'm a dude that I grind my ass off. So when I get off these shows, sometimes I don't even want to talk to other people because I talk so much here. So like I get the element of Jalen's probably, but to your point, you're still the leader of the football team. Like I think you got to show up as the team.
Goals change because the environment around you and the people around you change.
Right.
Expectations of you change.
I agree with that.
Your goals change as something you want, as something that you want to achieve.
Well,
that's
do you
human nature.
I don't really think he's changed, but what do you?
I think it's elevating. I think it's elevating. AJ Brown wanting to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer after winning a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts wanting to be one of the most influential people and having people look at him differently is a reward. But it's different because those things are coming with it. So to me, what you do is you check out and go, well, look at my resume now, man. What do I want to become next? What's my next achievement? A.J. Brown's next achievement is a gold jacket because he's checked off the boxes that were the hardest. Terrell Owens couldn't check that box off. Randy Moss couldn't check that box off. Yeah. They were in search of the Holy Grail their entire career. What was the one thing that got him into Canton? Numbers. Being able to have targets, a resume.
Dude, you just went through it, Jalen or AJ's numbers. He's not going to Canton with those numbers.
He's 162 in receiving. He ain't getting nowhere.
And by the way, I think he's a Canton talent.
How about this? But to my point, Julian Edelman's got 3 rings and a Super Bowl MVP, and he's got 6,800 receiving yards, and he ain't going anywhere.
All right.
He's got a resume. What gets you into the Hall? Numbers. That's
Julian Edelman just got into the Patriots Hall of Fame.
I know, 37th man again. That's where I got this kind of topic from where, hey, get this, because I heard you go like this. This guy's a Canton guy. Dude, Barkley is a Canton talent. But Barkley's 28 with 7 grand rushing. Yeah. You got a lot of I'll
tell you what, if Barkley does another season like he had last year, though, I think they would push his stats for those.
How rare is that?
That's pretty rare. If he does what he did last year again, 2,500 yards or 2,000 rushing yards.
He gets $2 grand again for sure.
He's in Canton. Yeah, he's in Canton. Yeah,
because no one would have done that.
I agree.
Okay, but no one's gotten close.
Well, here, let me ask you this. All right, let me look something up real quick because I do think it's an interesting topic here with AJ Brown. But like, who is a more Hall of Fame worthy resume right now? Jamar Chase or AJ Brown? And that's probably not a good comp because Jamar Chase came into the league way after AJ Brown, but he's got 55. Jamar Chase has 5,500 receiving yards in 4 seasons. He's got 46 touchdowns and 395 receptions. Now let me look at AJ Brown because AJ Brown.
Tyreek Hill. Look at Tyreek Hill's numbers because he's got a ring and he's got numbers.
So AJ's played 2 extra seasons. He's got 446 and 7,000 yards. That's not awful. I mean, Jamar's on a faster pace, but
take a look at Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill's going to Canton.
You think so?
Look at the numbers.
He's got over 11,000 receiving yards. Man, he's got some crazy numbers.
And look how young he is. And in a ring. And look at the catches. He looks at him. If I'm AJ, I'm looking at Tyreek going, think Tyreek's getting in? I do. Because by the time he's done, look what Tyreek did. He went to Miami knowing that Tua would throw him the ball more. And he knew that. And they're throwing him the ball more. He's got his ring, dude. He's got his ring.
I don't know, though. I will say this. AJ's numbers are still pretty good. Remember, he had almost 1,500 yards 2 straight seasons here. He had 1,496 and 1,456.
You think that's going to continue?
Last year, he missed 3 games and had 1,079.
Okay, so you think he's going to stay healthier in a run-dominant offense, and they're going to have lesser targets with a fullback?
Wow.
How about this? Let me ask you this. If you're A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and you see they're going to implement a fullback in your offense, how you feeling about that? You think they're going to throw the ball more to me or less to me?
Depends. If they open up the play action a little bit more, then yes. But if they don't, no. Remember, they got the offensive lines coming back. Saquon's coming back.
Why would I throw it? I won last year not throwing it. What do you think is a better chance?
I don't know if I would care.
What do you think the better chance of controlling the clock is? Throwing it more or running it more?
Running the ball.
Right. Well, if I'm a receiver looking to go to Canton, I don't know how that looks at me and go, well, where am I in this?
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. I think people are going to misconstrue what you're saying here because
they are.
They're going to say it. Who cares? And I'm with them because we're Eagles fans. But at the end of the day, I do think Sil's bringing up a good topic where what does AJ care about? And he probably does care about these things. All right. We may not care because our team wins.
You asked John McMullen a question. What do you think he cares about? Numbers, targets, or winning? And the reason you asked it was because you weren't sure of it. And if you ask a question like that, that means it's something on your mind even too, that you're not completely sure. Hey, do you want both? He's got both now. He's got the ring.
Right.
Bro, it's no longer about going out and blocking any longer. You think that guy wants to go out there blocking for Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley again, miss a couple games at 28 years old? Hey, bro, you keep doing that, by the time you're 28, 29, 30, you'll be DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, so what are you saying AJ's going to want? You think he's just going to make a stink next year or what? Like, what do you think the bigger ramification of it is? Because I don't think you're wrong. I think AJ Brown, listen, if he has another 1,500-yard season, which he had 2 of, all right, there's only been 1 season here where he's gotten low numbers, and
the Super Bowl winning year.
So, yeah, the Super Bowl winning year. If he returns to what he did, 1,500,
they won't win it.
Yeah, but he won't have a problem.
No, he won't.
No.
You're right. If he has 1,600 yards this year and they don't win, things will be great.
Yeah, I agree. Now, remember, listen, you're climbing an uphill battle on re-winning the Super Bowl. So it's tough for you to set a parameter like, oh, so now you did this to make AJ happy, but you didn't win. I mean, let's be real. All Eagle fans should reckon we have 2 Super Bowls in 60 years, guys. I mean, it's unlikely for us to go and repeat. We all feel like we have a good team to have a chance to do it, but it's already an unlikely task. It's already an uphill battle of a task. So it's probably going to happen anyway. Now, where you bring up the interesting point is if they play offense like they did last year, which they're most likely going to do.
Yes.
And they ultimately are not able.
And by the way, should.
And they're not able to win the Super Bowl. What does that mean for the receivers on the football team?
By the way, you're right, Zander. The conversation here is not about me and what I think is right. My conversation is, what do you think AJ thinks when last year this guy's reading To Kill a Mockingbird on the sidelines,
right,
and he's not engaged in the game because this guy here has got to read self-help books by Napoleon Hill, and he's on the sideline trying to get himself motivated because he's not interested in the game plan because they don't have him involved in the game plan. That's a guy that's looking to go to Canton. Reading a book on the sidelines and reading PMA by W. Clement Stone. I mean, I don't know about you, bro.
All right, so from an Eagles perspective, what you're saying to me, and maybe you're not, but this is what I'm inferring, Eagles better learn how to win without A.J. Brown. Because right now, even without using him, they can't win when he's not on the field.
No.
They how bad did they look in the games he missed last year?
But how long is that going to work if you're the 5th worst passing team in the league and you're a guy that's not going to – hey, dude.
But look, this is
they didn't only not take the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. They took the ball out of A.J. Brown's hands.
Yeah, but again, we care about the Eagles. Again, A.J. Brown, great player. A.J. Brown's wants are not as important to me as the Eagles. So if you look at it like this, Kimbo says, look at the Chiefs. All right, what did the Chiefs do? They got rid of the receiver who wanted his yards.
And won.
Said goodbye and won. That's why I said, do the Eagles have to learn how to win without A.J. Brown in order to safeguard yourself or prepare yourself for the inevitable life after A.J.
Jalen Hurts have to prepare without A.J.
Well, remember, last year was Jalen Hurts' first year reading progressions, his first year doing everything at the line of scrimmage, and I think he got better at it week in and week out, and his best game in it was the Super Bowl. So if you take that, I think he should improve. Now, it does rely on him improving in that area of his game, but I think he will be.
The conversation is morphing into Hurts. I'm not talking about
but
him.
That's because Hurts is the catalyst, Sills.
Hold on. I'm talking about one player, A.J. Brown, and how he sees this season coming up. All of that is right, Zander. That is a conversation that we've climbed up a billion times. Right. Progression reading, setting protections, all of that got better in the NFL. That's not a debate. The debate is, how does AJ see his role on this Eagle team right now going into this year? Does he see his role? When you come and I start hearing the owner go, hey, John Ritchie, get this, the fullback's coming in. The fullback's coming in? Bro, that doesn't spell well for the Y and Z and how they're going to approach. Here, I've said this last year and I'll say it this year. And by the way, one more time, I'm going to say it again. Bro, the Super Bowl's old news. Got 7 new starters and a coordinator. It's a whole different football team than what you had 84 days ago. That's not even part of it any longer. again, it's a different unit that you're going to go into camp with. Of the 90 guys, Xander, how many guys do you think are new that'll go into that 90-man camp this year?
New? Oh, got to be a lot. At least 40.
Okay.
At least 40, right? I mean, you lost 6 starters. That's 22. Now you got 10 new draft picks. You had 10 or 9 undrafted free agent signings. They invited another 10 in. You're probably looking at 30 to 40 new bodies in there, new players in there.
That's a great topic. I never. Okay, yeah. The current.
Well, I think that's the turnover you see probably across the NFL.
Let's see. Barkley's back. Let's see. Let's got new. Let's see a new here. Harrison Bryant's new. Let me write it down. Harrison Bryant's new. Okay. This Fields kid's new. This is on your 90 man. This Klein kid's new, right? Is he?
Kid.
This Darius Cooper kid's new.
Are you going to go through all 90 right now?
Hold on. No, I'm not. I don't believe it's going to be. This Gant kid's new. This Granson kid's new. This guy's new. This Hinton kid.
There's going to be a lot of new guys for sure.
Bro, I'm thinking that there's like 50 guys that are going to be new on this football team.
Possibly. When you're talking about the 90-man roster, yeah. The 53, I'm thinking probably.
50 guys going to go in there all brand new. So, again.
That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. You got to keep rotation in there, man. You got to keep people hungry.
We're not talking about what's right here. I'm talking about one guy and seeing his – see – what happens with Eagle guys,
AJ Brown's
they start getting upset with the fact that I'm looking at one person and how he's seeing his role.
Well, what do you see his role at? You're beating around the bush.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you exactly how. I've been saying it for hours here. This guy's going to be one pissed off motherfucker. If this guy doesn't get the football thrown to him and they don't win the Super Bowl, this guy's going to throw a bitch.
I happen to agree with you on that. I happen to agree with you on that. But, I mean, he's still going to be our top target in the passing game. What do you think? We're going to run out? 1, 2, 3, run. I mean, come on. They're going to pass the ball 20,
They
25.
did that last year. They were 30th.
He's still at 1,000 yards, and he missed 3 games.
Hold on. They got the 5th worst passing team in league.
Okay, and what did he do? Poof 1,000 yards out of thin air? He had 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards.
1,100.
Hold on.
No, he only had 67 catches.
Let me. Now that is good.
That to me is worse than the yardage.
Okay, let me see something here. Let me
67
go over here.
catches for AJ Brown is. Now he did.
That's Tennessee. That's Tennessee Titan times. When he had 60,
he had 63, 70. He had 52, 70, and 63 in Tennessee.
Yeah, that right. Okay, let's take a look at this. So Zander says that he had 1,000 yards receiving. Okay, let's take a look at 1,000 yards receiving. So let's take a look. There's A.J. Brown. Let's see. Jacoby Myers had 1,000 receiving. Let's see here. Darnell Mooney had 1,000 yards receiving. Garrett Wilson had 1,000 yards. Ladd McConkey had 1,100 yards receiving.
Look at the leader list of 1,000-yard receiving.
Hey, all I'm saying
AJ Brown was 17th in the NFL last year in receiving yards.
Let's see how many where he was in his
He was behind Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Trey McBride, Ladd McConkey.
Let's see where
Brock
AJ
Bowers,
Brown.
Malik Neighbors, Jerry Jeudy had a good year last year.
AJ Brown was 44th in targets.
That's bad. See, that I don't like. But that's easily explained.
That's
easily explained, though.
Okay. Hey, why? Because he got hurt blocking?
No, because we ran for 2,500 freaking yards, bro.
Okay. Again, I'm not disagreeing with it.
Again, no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about it from AJ's perspective, but I'm always going to slant toward the Eagles' perspective because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what AJ Brown wants.
But he does.
All right, great. So it factors into the team. How does it affect the team is my caring. You care about what AJ thinks.
No, I don't care.
You do.
What you guys are missing here, you think that I'm trying to make some shit up when all I'm doing is I'm taking a look at what the guy's behavior's been his entire time in Philly and how he's looked at his role. Do you think he's happy the way they won the Super Bowl last year by running the ball 38 times a game? Do you think that?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No,
That's
I get it.
No. Watch this. That's a great point. Zander's doing a show right now, and I'm. What do you say?
Yeah, right.
What? What's that?
That's messed up. That's messed up. Listen.
So when you
AJ
got players out there executing what's the right thing when running the football 35, 36 times, you got a guy over here thumbing through.
All right, let me ask you something.
The Book of the Month Club.
I'm not saying you're wrong about AJ Brown and what he wants. I happen to agree that if he doesn't get the targets and the ball enough this year and they don't win, he's going to be a pissed off dude because, again, he believes he's great and he should believe he's great. I think he's right for believing he's great. All right. Do you think Tyreek Hill regrets signing with the Miami Dolphins? He went to Miami, he got his yards, and he missed out on 2 Super Bowl rings. He already has a Super Bowl ring, okay? And he already has many of the accomplishments that AJ Brown now got in Philly. But he got the money, he got the yards, and as you pointed out, he has a Hall of Fame resume. Do you think he regrets leaving Kansas City?
No, because here, look at this. Super Bowl champion, 6-time first team All-Pro. He is second team All-Pro once. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, NFL receiver yardage leader in 23, NFL touchdown co-leader in 23. On the 2010 All-Decade team, he was on the All-Rookie team. He's got 11,000 receiving yards, 82 touchdowns, 1,400 in punt returns, and he has got a Super Bowl ring, as I said.
Yeah.
That's a Hall of Fame resume.
It is.
8 Pro Bowls?
It is, but that's not my question. I know.
No, I do not, because he became first team All-Pro. He was never going to be first team All-Pro anymore in Kansas City. Why? Kansas City doesn't value the wideout. They win Super Bowls.
When he was there, he was.
Yeah, until he wanted money and they moved
on. They offered him money, though.
Not near what Miami did.
They offered him $4 million less, I thought. 21, 22 million. They gave him 26, 27 in Miami.
Do you not agree that he is the main target, even with Jalen Waddle down in Miami, that they're
100%
going to
the main target? Yeah.
Well, who was the main target all those last 6 years in Kansas City? Travis Hunter or Travis Kelce? Or was it going to be Tyreek Hill?
It was Tyreek Hill when he was there.
And then why'd they move off him and keep Kelce?
Travis Kelce's cheaper, but I mean, the offense probably runs through Travis.
Because Andy ran tight ends in Philly. He didn't have big time wideouts in Philly. Who's the biggest?
No, listen, again, I didn't say that to start like a debate about it. Honestly, because I do think it's a fair wonder of like, where is AJ? Because you're probably right. Tyreek Hill doesn't care, but I'm sure there's a dude out there who would exist in the league that would regret missing out. I mean, right now, Mahomes holds up his ring, his hand. He's got 3 of them things on there. Travis Kelce holds up his hand. He's got 3 of them things on there. And again, I know you're right. You're right in saying that they care about their personal accolades, but does AJ Brown want to leave an organization that is this good, this dominant, where he's gotten 1,500 yards in 2 of his 3 seasons, been in the Super Bowl in 2 of his 3 seasons, just to go and get 20 extra?
A Hall of Fame jacket? Yeah.
But he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory here. Now, if they continue last year, it probably won't. But again, Sills, you can't leave out his first 2 years in Philly. They were Hall of Fame level seasons that contributed to that resume.
Okay, he's 162nd right now at 28 years old. The chances of him having quite the numbers to get him in the top 20 are slim to none.
Yeah, but he needs to go on a historic pace then.
That's right. And they're not going to go on some historic pace with His Highness.
No.
That's not going to happen. And nor should they. Get this. I think what people look at, if they're saying, I'm saying, well, Chills, what do you want him to do? No.
I don't think AJ's going to want out. Now that I'm thinking about this, I think he'll be upset. I don't think he's going to want out. I think if AJ Brown leaves the Eagles, it's going to be because of the front office needed to get cheaper on the offense, and they move on from the player.
So if they don't win the Super Bowl and they finish 30th and he's 146th in targets this year, how do you think that's going to work?
Well, I mean, we're talking about 400 yards here. Like if he had 300 yards more last year, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No. I'm asking you, how do you think that's going to go if this guy is 1,000 yards? He's 44th in targets, and they don't win the Super Bowl, and they're the 5th worst passing team, and they don't win, and they don't get out of the top 4 teams.
I don't think it'd be great. I mean, I don't think he'd be very happy. But I mean, it depends.
You think he was very happy last year?
No, he had 67 catches. If he played all the games, he probably would have had 85. I think that's a little bit too low. If Jalen's only throwing the ball 20, 25 times a game, as long as A.J. Brown's getting 12 of them, I don't think he's going to give a shit.
See, look at what Big Sill's just doing here. I'm just looking at how he's trying to see it.
Maybe you're right about about running 2 tight end sets and then just don't even throw the ball to tight end. If you throw the ball 20 times, give AJ 12 and Devontae 8. That's it. We don't even throw the ball to anybody else.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I don't know. I think AJ Brown wouldn't want to look back and have his have his hand missing some rings.
That's why, okay, he's checked that box now. Now it's time for my boxes to get checked by having
Tyreek check the box too.
Okay, let me. Well, I
got one more question for you.
I think 8 first-team All-Pros is.
I got one more question for you on this.
All right.
Tyreek Hill's been in Miami for how many years now?
Shit, I don't know. He's been almost non-existent.
3 years now?
I think it's something like that.
All right, 3 years now. What's a better resume? All right, yeah, 3 years in Miami. All right. He's had 119 receptions, 119, and last year at 81. I don't know why he dropped. Well, I guess they missed 2 last year, so he went under 1,000 last year. All right. He has 11,000 career receiving yards, 82 touchdowns. And let's just go with that for now. If he had 10,000 receiving yards instead of 11,000, 70 touchdowns instead of 82, and 3 Super Bowl rings instead of 1, whose resume are you taking?
Super Bowl rings don't matter.
I didn't ask that. I asked the collective resume of the player that will apply to Canton.
I'm taking Tyreek Hill's resume because he's up over 10.
You're taking 11,001 ring over 10,003 rings?
No, 10,003 rings. There's no player outside of Jerry Rice with that. And NFL history.
All right. So AJ's
Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin
at 5,500 yards.
They're the only players in NFL history with 3 rings and over 10,000 receiving yards. There's only 2 of them. Okay.
Right, so AJ Brown has 7,000 career receiving yards. He can play in Philly another 4 years, easily eclipse 10,000. And if let's just say they win another ring, and he's got 2 rings on his resume, and he already has 50 touchdowns. So give him 7.
3 Pro Bowls is not cutting it.
That's a Hall of Fame resume for AJ Brown.
3 Pro Bowls is not cutting it.
Because here's the problem. If he wants to get in on stats alone, as you mentioned, he needs a historic pace. The one way to boost that is to get an extra rings because of how good of a player he is.
Well, how are they going to go on an historic pace by putting a fullback in and having Saquon Barkley with $20 million and then wanting to run the ball more? How's that some historic pace when the quarterback throws the ball 19 times a game? How is that an historic pace that he's going to be on when he's 44th in targets?
How many yards is Jalen Hurts going to throw for this year, in your opinion?
Somewhere between 33 and 3,500 yards.
All right, so who's getting them?
I'm assuming the 2 receivers are going to get them. Okay.
AJ Brown.
Again, is that going to be enough for him? Because last year he went for 2,900 and he got 1,000 yards. They won 14 ball games. Like I said, there's 2 different conversations here. What's right and what's AJ's right?
I think it would be in the Eagles' best interest overall this year to, I'm not saying change what they did because it was so successful, but I think you got to find a little bit more balance in order to take care of players who are also on your team. I know you have a team goal and that should be the first thing, but you can still have a potent run game that wins you games while also incorporating and understanding you got 2 highly paid receivers that want the football. And that, by the way, when they get the football, it means good things for our football team. I think if they balance that a little bit better this year, I think that all these problems will be nada. Will be gonzo, and Big Sills will be back to the drawing board.
Well, let's do this. Every year that Tyreek Hill has been in Miami, he's been a All-Pro. That's not was the case in Kansas City.
See, wait, I'm going to correct one comment because I knew this was going to come. Killa, you're not wrong about this, but I'm pushing back on you. He says they acting like rings don't matter, but garbage stats do. You're going the wrong direction. Killa, obviously we are, because we're not talking about what the desire for the team is. We're talking about an individual player who's a receiver. Now, you might think he cares more about rings than yards.
No way.
But Sileo and history would suggest that they care more about yards. It's not us saying this. We're just talking about what AJ's perspective would be. Obviously, rings are more important than garbage stats.
Then, to his point, then Philadelphia, why isn't Edelman in the Hall of Fame or being considered for it?
Well, yeah, Edelman's not a Hall of Fame player.
Wait a minute. He's got 3 rings and a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, but
and he's got just as many receiving yards right now as AJ Brown does.
But that's not a perfect comp, Sills.
Well,
that's not a good comp.
If wins matter.
No. I'm going to tell you why that's not a good comp.
Okay.
Edelman had 6,822 total yards in his career. He played in 11 football seasons. All right. AJ Brown's played 7 football seasons, and he already has more yards than him. So
I thought rings matter, though.
They do matter. But the player is not as good as AJ Brown.
Hold on.
So rings for Edelman.
Nobody has.
No. Let me finish. Rings for Edelman.
Yards in pro football history in the postseason than Julian Edelman.
Rings for Edelman are not going to matter as much as rings for AJ Brown. He has more receiving yards than Edelman in 4 last seasons.
He's 162nd in receiving yards right now.
Okay, but Edelman's 380.
Okay,
they're a different caliber of player.
Okay, again. You're putting more stock in the rings.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm putting stock in the talent of the player, the eye test of the player.
Okay. Well, then how about this one? When you look at the top receivers in the game and the top 10 receivers, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Larry Fitzgerald, none of them have rings. I mean, they've got the numbers.
No, I hear what you're saying.
And they're based on catches and numbers that got them into Canton.
Right, but all right, let's say there's 2 categories. All right, your stats and then your success on the team. I agree with you. Stats matter a lot more when you're talking about getting to the Hall of Fame. But if you're going to come down a little bit in stats, what's one way to booster it back up? It's this side. If AJ is as good as he is, with slightly less statistics than Larry or any of these other guys, with 3 rings, that's a better resume overall than any of it.
I don't believe that offense is morphing towards throwing the ball and having more targets thrown at him.
No,
I think they're going the other way.
I agree.
Because of the way they're talking and the coordinator hire.
Yeah, but they can't throw the ball to less than 2,900 yards this year.
Why not? They blew everyone out last year.
Well, I think you're right in that you just projected 33 to 35. That's the natural. I mean, they're not going to throw for under 3,000 yards. That's rare in the NFL. Did any team have less passing yards? I've never seen
that, actually.
Yeah. That's a little bit of a one-off. Like, there's a lot better chance that Hurts doesn't do anything differently, and he still throws for 3,300 this year because he's just going to come back to the middle. He's not going to throw for 2,400 yards. I mean, how much lower are we going, Sills?
No.
AJ Brown's going to get 1,000 yards next year, minimum. I think the bigger question here is the money with Howie. And what Howie thinks of this. Here's a question. Here's a topic.
And the shit he's going to stir if they don't win. And it's 44th. He's 44th in targets.
Yeah, drop that for just 1 second, though. Take what we just talked about, this whole scenario, which, again, we've talked about how there's an Eagles perspective and there's an AJ Brown perspective.
Right.
Now factor the Howie Roseman perspective, who's like, we're winning a lot. Clearly, we did something right. We're doing something right. What do I do about the $32 million wide receiver that gets 67 catches a year?
Okay. Howie's going to look at it like this because he's doing the one thing that's important for his quarterback. How does not having A.J. Brown not on the roster affect my $50 million investment? Now, remember, when Amari Cooper got knocked off that Cowboy team, you think the Cowboy passing attack has been the same, even with CD in the building?
No.
Correct?
No.
Okay. So when you start taking components like that away from people, now, like I said, exiting Goddard away, putting a fullback in, okay, well, that's not helpful to protecting because I don't have to defend the tight end position. Can you imagine that if I'm a coordinator? That means I don't have to worry about the middle of the field.
Right.
You're helping me as a coordinator. If Dallas Goedert's not on that field, or how about this, Zander? If Goddard's on that field, I have to account for that player. When you have Harrison Bryant on that field, sorry, dude.
No, you're right.
I don't have to account for that position anymore. That's two positions on your team on offense that I don't have to account for. Wide receiver 3 in the slot and your tight end, which means you become more predictable. Why are you going towards being more predictable? Why? Because you're going to run it more. You're going to go 2 tight end and fullback and run it and throw it less. AJ sees that. Get this. Formation-wise, Xander, before there's a play called, the second week of September, AJ sees the writing on the wall right now and how this offense is going to be approached this year, especially when you hear the owner saying the fullback's coming back. They're moving off of Goddard. They're bringing all these blocking tight ends in. They didn't draft anybody. If you're A.J. Brown, you think there's more targets coming his way or less? And on top of that, then it becomes more predictable again because you're taking away 2 components, the slot and the tight end.
Yeah, but
you're more predictable.
You still got to get that ball to A.J. Brown, man. You can't build – what dumbass is calling
I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying it's easier. That's easier to defend.
Oh, it's definitely easier to defend. But the great equalizer here has to be the running game. If you start taking away pieces of your passing game and you think it's going to be effective, you better hope you're running for 2,500 yards again. If you don't, and by the way, there's people, let me just correct one thing too about this conversation is, this is going to more like Chris Scott. I love you, Chris. AJ's here for the next 3 years for sure. Chris, I don't know about that. This guy says, dead cap hit is huge. AJ Brown is here to stay. Well, let me show you guys something. All right. If you at this time next year, you know how we're talking about Dallas Goedert right now, where you get major savings if you wait till after June 1st. Well, if you designate AJ Brown as a June 1 trade and you trade him after the season next year, your dead cap hit's only $20 million. Now, if you do it before then, your dead cap hits $70 million. So they're not going to do that. But $20 million is not going to scare the Philadelphia Eagles off.
Not when you can use 2 years to spread it out.
And you save $7 million in the cap space. So it is more realistic than you think next season. Yes. Not going to move on from him now or anything like that.
No.
If they go through a season to Sills' point and AJ's bitching and they don't win the Super Bowl and they could move on from him next summer. I don't think they will, though.
How about this, though? What if they duplicate what they did a year ago? Let's go on the positive. They win the Super Bowl the same way. And Hurts has 29.04. They duplicate everything. And he's 44th in targets. How's Howie see that value out there at wideout?
Yeah, you're probably questioning whether you're paying too much money there, especially when you got contracts for Carter, Quinion, Cooper, Nolan, all these guys coming up. I mean, listen, we all love Devontae and AJ. It's not about that, but they are eating up a very significant portion of the cap. So if you're not going to utilize those players and your team is winning in other ways and your defense is number one, Howie's going to look and say, well, I got to pay that number one overall defense, So I do wonder about, we just brought up Howie's perspective. I do think that's a factor. Like, you can't pay $60 million. And again, I think the players are worth every penny. But if your team doesn't utilize those players, you're probably going to invest those resources in other areas.
Once again, this is not about I'm not talking what's right. I'm more talking about how the player sees himself, his resume, when everything is said and done, and he puts a period at the end of his resume. Is this going to be good enough to be a guy to be considered for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Right now, it's not. because he's far down the list. When you look at Tyreek Hill right now, if he plays 3 more years at the level he's playing, he's going. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 7-time first-team All-Pro.
Well,
He's got a Super Bowl ring.
He had 800 yards last year. He better not continue on that trajectory. Just like you're using 1 year on A.J. Brown, same thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, 1 year's not going to frighten me off that resume. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well, 1 year's not frightening me off A.J. Brown. He had 2 back-to-back 1500s.
That's right. That's why when I say that to Barkley, people getting their panties in a bind because he went for $2,000. That's not telling me he's a Hall of Fame resume either.
Let me tell you how I see this playing
Absolutely
out.
not.
This is how I see this playing out. Let me go to this comment here. Shaheed checks in. Teams are going to stack the box to stop the run, and then Hurts will throw the ball all over the yard. This is my projection for how this is going to play out. I think naturally teams are going to come in and try and take away Barkley more so than they did last year. Okay, he's going to have, instead of 2,000, he'll have 1,500 or 1,600 or 1,700, somewhere in that range. That's going to mean Jalen's going to throw the ball more. I think A.J. Brown's going to probably go back to 1,300 yards receiving. And I don't know if that's going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl or go back. But if that happens, I don't think these problems are going to be a big thing. Now, that's where I think the money's going to come in and be an even bigger factor.
Before we get John Morgan on, don't forget, hey, Xander,
by the way, I got to run too.
Hey, Xander, by the way, top of the 4 o'clock hour, do me a favor. Can you text Boomer because he's going to be in traffic?
It is the top of the 4 o'clock. You mean top of the 5 o'clock hour?
When you get done reading these supers, can you text him, please?
Yeah, I just texted him a little bit ago. I'll text him again.
Good.
All right, here we go. Let's get some supers. Appreciate all you guys, by the way, for being here, for checking in, comments, likes, shares. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys.
AJ has played 6 years. See, I said 7. My bad, Lucius. It's 6. If it's 6, that's crazy. 4 more years, 1K. 4 more 1K years is doable. Very doable. Very doable.
Not with that offense.
What do you mean? He had 1,000 last year and he missed.
You're not going to hold up, dude, playing bully ball like Bob said. If you think you're going to get,
so you're saying he won't be able to. He's going to get hurt playing like this. Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, I didn't realize that was your take. I agree. Well, possibly depends. He is built dude. I mean,
he is the brick shit out.
Very durable too. We've never had an issue in Philly. So
absolutely.
Kimbo says, problem is Hurts not great at throwing to
tight ends.
To tight ends. Yeah, you can't see. I don't think you can see over the offensive line. I think that's a bigger problem than people believe.
I think the middle of the field is a vision issue.
How are you going to see over 6'8" Mekhi Becton and 6'7" Landon Dickerson? I mean, can you even blame the guy if you don't have freaking 6'6" Justin Herbert? How do you do it? Pumper says, "What would you rather have AJ Brown play wide receiver for your team or play Twister with Sidney Sweeney? I choose the latter. I peep the Gala. Woof woof."
Oh my God! Seeing those games, my God, the king.
Playing Twister with Sidney Sweeney's enough for you, Pumper? That ain't enough for me, dog. Al Kokorski says, "Sills, who had a bigger impact on an organization, Franco Harris or Emmitt Smith?" Good question.
Emmitt did. Emmitt was the catalyst in that Cowboy dynasty. The Steeler dynasty was the O-line and that defense. And the perimeter guys. Not saying Franco wasn't important. He's a Hall of Fame player. Franco was important. But that football team was built through the draft and all those great players that they drafted. The different NFL, man. You could keep stockpile players back then. You can't do that now.
Yep. Here we go. Here's Rashid. Zander, 22, 1,500 yards. 23, 1,500 yards. 24, 1,113 games. Was out 4 games. Played them and he has 1,400+ yards. Hurts 2 wide receivers. Don't miss 4 games. It's not a combo.
Yeah, that's right. That's why he was reading books on the sideline and joining the
but that doesn't dismiss what Rashid said.
Bro, if you think that guy was happy the way they won the Super Bowl a year ago.
That's not what Rashid said, Sills.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're not thinking like AJ right now. He's thinking one thing, Hall of Fame, and I want massive targets sent to me. And I get it. Dude, you're not going to get healthier getting older running the ball more. You're just not. It makes no common sense.
So you're saying he's going to miss
40 times.
You're saying he's going to miss 4 games again.
Oh, he's saying he's going to miss 40.
No. He's saying if he played those 4 games, even with the way they played last year, we probably wouldn't be having this convo. He's
Rashid,
right.
If he plays the way he played last year and they play, he'll miss 6 games this year.
Rashid, good super. I appreciate it. Kimbo
Yeah,
says,
you bet.
expecting a huge
Thank
loss to help Barkley get open. Did you get that one? You probably
Yeah,
got
I
that one.
got that one.
Yeah. All right, we got them all. All right, we got them all. Thanks, everybody. Good super chats. Rashid, I happen to agree with you. Thank you, Rashid.
You think he misses no games playing that same style this
I
year?
didn't say that. I'm saying
Okay,
last
what did
year,
you say?
the way they played last year, even if they didn't change a thing, and the only thing that changed was that A.J. Brown didn't get hurt in the beginning of the season, he would have still gotten his numbers. In the offense that Saquon Barkley ran 2,500 yards in.
Okay, I'll ask you this on the way out the door here. If they don't win the Super Bowl and he duplicates, or no, they don't win the Super Bowl, and he's instead of 44th, he's 30th with those 3 games and targets. And they don't win. And he gets 1,200 yards. And they're still 30th in passing. How do you think he's going to feel about that season last year or this coming year if they don't win?
What was your number if he gets what?
Okay. Say he's 30th instead of 44th.
Yeah.
In targets, playing those games. Okay? And he has 1,300 yards, and they don't win. And their passing offense is still down there instead of bottom 5, bottom 10. How do you think he's going to feel about that coming back? And how do you think the Eagles are going to feel about that?
I think AJ would be all right with it. The Eagles probably wouldn't be too happy with it. I got to correct one thing, though, on this. All right? I'm sorry. Let's be truthful about this conversation. R. Anthony says he's getting hurt playing like that. Well, he didn't really last year. If he got hurt in week 14, you can make an argument that this style of offense is what hurt him. He got hurt in the beginning of the season.
Injury.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it was groin.
So it wasn't like we didn't.
It was Devontae that got hurt.
Like this. Right? He didn't get hurt like this. You got to correct that. All right, so good stuff, man. I appreciate it.
It was Devontae, right, that got hurt.
Devontae got hurt early in the year too, though.
Was it groin too?
Yeah, I think he was groin or hamstring or one of them. All right, Sales, appreciate it, man.
You got it, my friend. Don't forget, Boomer Esiason's going to join us at 5:30 Eastern time. I'll tell you what is turning out to be one of my favorite segments is with John Morgan. And I'll tell you this, there is so many things going on in sports now. President wants to come out with an executive order to deal with nil. Hey, Belichick has never been more interesting right now than he's ever been. I mean, hey, we're on to Cincinnati. Bill, what about the quarterback between Garoppolo and Brady? We're on to Cincinnati. This guy was never this interesting. I mean, he's never been this interesting. And I don't know about you guys. So we're going to get to all this here. So I'm watching that Kyle Busch commercial. Guy pulls up to a stop sign, and there he